Assalamu alaikum, Juma Mubarak, ladies and gentlemen of the press. On behalf of the Secretary General and the party leader, we welcome you to another edition of the UDP press briefing in respect of the past December elections. Again, we apologize profoundly for starting the proceedings some 30 minutes late. It's my pleasure really to welcome the senior leadership of the United Democratic Party. On my right is former ambassador to Turkey, His Excellency Kemeseng Jame. Next to him is His Excellency Honorable Mbemba Tambedu, the Deputy Ambassador to the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Next to him is His Excellency Dr. Mamadou Lamine Sidat Diop, former Foreign Minister, former Ambassador to the Republic of France. On the left side is Honorable Amadou Sane, the former Finance Minister of the Gambia and National Treasurer. Standing next to the party leader is Mariam Babukar Seka, the Deputy Party Leader and Deputy Secretary General of the UDP. We are very pleased that we have an opportunity again to engage with the media on an issue that will always be of importance to the UDP, that is the rule of law and good governance of this country. For the 25 years that the party has been in existence, this has been our clarion call, that the rule of law must prevail, whatever the circumstances are. We remember in 2016, Ousseynou Dabo and his brothers went to prison because they believe that the rule of law must prevail here. We remember also that our brother and comrade Solo Sandeng was killed because he wanted constitutional and electoral reforms. These causes and these concerns are still with the UDP, and we are continuing in that same struggle to make sure that the rule of law, however is going to be established in the Gambia, we are going to continue that struggle. So again, I'm not going to say much. I will leave the Secretary General and the former Vice President of the Gambia make his case again. Thereafter, we will have a session of Q&A, and thereafter we will all go and pray for a peaceful Gambia on this blessed Friday. Thank you very much again for coming to this media meeting. Your Excellency, Party Leader, you have the floor. Where is where is the on they are on there.
Well, anyway, Juma Mubarak to all of you. Hope think we'll continue as this gentleman tries to sort out this technical problem. I want to join the spokesperson to welcome you all, gentlemen and ladies of the media, to a continuation of our discussions with you and the Gambian people on what we found, not only missing, but what we found to have been gross violations of the electoral process from registration to counting. We had rejected the results of the elections And following our rejection, we filed suits in the court. Our suit was not heard, but nonetheless, we believe that what is in the register of the courts that is not known to the Gambian people, this would be the venue. This would be the forum at which to make this known, not only to the press, but to the entire Gambian people, as well as the world at large. At my last engagement with you, I had picked out and shown to you, members of the press, and the Gambian people at large, the various acts of corruption or the various corrupt practices that the NPP engaged in. And it was just not for saying, but because we believe that, and that is rightly too, that it is a violation of the Elections Act, particularly Section 116 of the Elections Act. And on the advice of our lawyers, we know that the slightest or the most minimal act of corrupt practice in elections nullifies the elections. But we have placed before the Gambian people not one, not two, not three, not four, several, to show a system that NPP adopted in order to corrupt the electorates and gain a victory. Today, we are not dealing with what NPP, we will conclude, is involved in what we are going to tell you today. But the principal actor in that is the Electoral Commission. The Electoral Commission is the principal actor in what we are going to discuss today. And I just say Electoral Commission, I'm not adding any other word before that. We have, we know that there are 730 polling stations, polling centers in the Gambia, and at the close of the polls, these 730 polling stations were converted to counting centers. So we had 730 counting centers throughout the country. Of these 730 counting centers, we were able to take 461 of those for our sample survey, because we couldn't get the entire 730. And our survey reveals that out of these 461 polling centers or counting centers, 89 of those counting centers, the results were not authenticated or endorsed by the presiding officer or the returning officer. Gentlemen of the press, you just want to show you what at the close of polls, after counting, these are the forms that the presiding officer must endorse. Says that counted and endorsed by, then the name of the presiding officer. We've shown that this particular one was endorsed by the presiding officer, and that is Brikama North Kabafita. But you have this other one, which is Jibungto. Jibunto in Brikama North not really authenticated or endorsed by the presiding officer. And you have found that 89 of these forms were not so endorsed. And that carried a total votes of 53,000 plus. And that is a quarter of the votes of the votes of these 461 voting centers. Now, what has happened in other parts of the country would have been made known if we had gone, if the Supreme Court had allowed our case to proceed, because we had put in request that all the documents, that IEC produces all the documents, then the rest of the other forms would have been produced, and then the authenticity or the validity of the elections would then have been certified. When the returning officer has not satisfied these particular results, this particular station, then one starts thinking, you know, how has the Independent Electoral Commission chairman accepted this for collation? And let me tell you, I have taken out this proposal for Jibunto to show that it was not educated, because I won in that polling station. So I'm not picking out the things that are in favor of, results that were in favor of NPP, in order to try to say that they were not valid. Picked out this, that's my area. Now, there was not only this fundamental error by the IEC in the conduct of the elections, but at the close of registrations at registration centers, we discovered that registration continued in those areas. Brikama, North, sampling of few registration centers indicates that 63 people were registered by the IEC even after the close of registration, because they had a shadow when registration moves, teams move from one center to the other. And these movements are in their document. Yeah, they are in their document, and the registrations took place in these places outside of those periods. For instance, in Brikama North, Kabafita Mosque, Brikama North, 22 people were registered after the close of registration in that particular registration center. We also have that in Brikama North, Nyambai Babagale, registration 7 people were registered after the close of registration. In Brikama, near Mataba Girls Guide, also registration continued there. So did it continue in Brikama Bafloto Bantaba, and Brikama Busranding, and Brikama Market. In Brikama South, in fact, Brikama North, was really targeted, because in Brikama Jalambang Mosque, registration continued after the close of registration, when registration should have closed there on the 21st of June. They carried on registration there on the 11th of July, 6th of July, 9th of July, 11th of July. This, we say that NPP, in complicity with the Electoral Commission, carried out this fraud, because no registration should have been carried out in those places. Also, in the Brikama North, Jamisa Bantaba, registration closed there on the 9th of June, but on the 2nd of July, 9th of July, and 11th of July, registration continued in that particular registration center. In Brikama New Town, North Moda Ali Nursery School, registration closed there on the 12th of June, but on the 2nd of July, registration was conducted in that place. Of course, because it's not within the official period, you cannot find any party agent to really, if even protest that a particular party is not qualified to be registered. In Brikama Sierra Kundanding, registration closed on the 11th of June, but on the 4th and 10th of July, registrations were conducted in that registration center. Brikama South was also not spared. Brikama Daslam Health Center, registration closed on the 5th of July, but then it continued on the 6th of July, 8th of July, 9th of July, 10th of July, and 11th of July. In Brikama Busra Clinic, registration closed there on the 23rd of June, yet registration continued there on the 2nd of July, 3rd of July, 4th of July, 6th of July, 8th of July. In Brikama Medina Bantaba, this Brikama South constituency, registration was closed there on the 12th of June, but on the 4th of July and the 10th of July, registration took place in that center. Brikama Sane Kunda Bantaba in Brikama South, registration closed on the 19th of June, but on the 22nd of June, 1st July, 3rd July, 4th July, and 11th July, registration continued in that particular registration center. Now, Brikama Marakisa, Bantaba, registration ended on the 13th of June, yet on the 3rd of July, 6th of July, 9th of July, 11th of July, registration continued in that particular registration center. Brikama Perseverance, Bantaba, registration closed on the 19th of June, yet on 1st July, 6th July, and 1st July, 6th July, registration continued there. Brikama New Town South Mosque, registration closed on the 21st of June, yet on the 1st of July, 2nd July, 3rd July, 5th July, 6th July, 9th July, 10th July, 11th July, registration continued in that registration center. Brikama South Jidda Bantaba, registration closed there on the 19th of June, yet on the 26th June, 30th June, 5th July, 7th July, registration continued in that particular center. Now, Brikama Sumakunda Bantaba, registration closed there on the 8th of June, yet on the 22nd and the 22nd June and 5th July 2021, registration continued there. Now, Brikama Haulakunda, registration closed on the 19th of June, yet on the 11th of July, registration was conducted in that particular place. Now, now in Combo South is an interesting thing, particularly Jambanjel. That's very interesting revelation in Jambanjel. But what give you something that in Brikama South, in Tanje, registration closed on the 21st of June, yet 6th of July, registration was conducted in that center. Rumba Bantaba, registration closed on the 26th of June, yet on the 5th July, registration was conducted in Rumba. Carton Health Center, registration closed on the 17th of June, but on the 21st of June, 1st July, 2nd July, 10th July, registration was conducted in Carton Health Center. Now, Gunjur Health Center, registration closed on the 19th of June, but 21st June and 8th July, registration was carried out in that area. Farato Mosque, Brikama, Farato Mosque in Brikama South, registration closed on the 19th of June. Yet on the 1st of July, 2nd July, 9th July, and 10th July, registration was carried out in that place. Of particular interest, really, is that we have Brikama Kabafita Mosque. This is not an area that was designated by the IEC as a registration center. But, and in fact, you don't have dates which registration should be conducted there. But nonetheless, we have that registration was conducted there on the 1st of July, 2nd July, 6th July, and 11th July, even though this is not a designated registration center. Now, Farato Mosque, the registration was closed on the 9th of June, yet on the 30th June, July 2nd, July 3rd, July 4th, July 5th, July 6th, July 8th, and July 9th, registration continued in that particular registration center, that is Farato Mosque in Combo South. Now, Tanja Community Center, registration closed on the 9th of June, but registration was conducted there on the 2nd of July and on the 4th of July. Tujering, around the senior secondary school, registration closed there on the 19th of June. Yet, on the 11th of July, registration continued in that area. In Tujerem Bantaba, registration closed on the 8th of June. Well, on the 2nd July, 3rd July, 6th July, and 8th July, registration was conducted by the IEC in that particular polling center, registration center. And ladies and gentlemen of the press, this information I'm giving you, we have the photographs and the voting cards of all these people, the people registered in all these places. We have them. You know, it's not something that we are just imagining, say this is what happened. It's actual IEC documents showing this. It's not our making. Then we move to Badbu Karawan. And again, consider this sample now. You've seen that. Combo South, Combo East. We don't. Nothing has been taken on Combo East because these are samples. Yeah? Now, Badibu Karawan registration was supposed to close on the 1st of July, yet on the 6th of July, registration was conducted. In Jokadu, St. Jarga Job Health Center, registration was supposed to close on the 5th of June, yet on the 8th of June, registration was carried out at that health center. In Kersale Health Center, registration closed on the 27th of June, but on the 4th of July, registration was carried out in that health center. Njabakunda Bantaba, registration closed on the 6th of July, but on the 10th of July, registration was carried out in that area. Farafenya Wharf Town, registration closed on the 1st of July, yet on the 2nd of July, and the 4th of July, registration continued. In Kintakunda Janea, Bantaba, registration closed on the 1st of July, but on the 6th of July, registration was carried out. In the KM area, Latrikunda Sabiji, Abuko Upper Basic School, registrations closed on the 19th of June, yet on the 3rd of July, 4th of July, 8th of July, and 10th of July, registration of voters were carried out in that particular center. Now, again, in Fajikunda Bantaba, registration closed on the 19th of June, yet on the 2nd July, 6th July, 7th July, and 10th July, registrations are conducted in these areas. In the Rex Nursery School, registration closed on the 15th of June, yet on the 4th of July, registration was conducted in that area. In Latrikunda Sabji Mosque, Fajikunda, registration closed on the 13th of June, yet on the 7th of July, we had registration in that center. Talindim Bantaba, registration closed on the 18th of June, yet on the 7th of July and 8th of July, registrations were conducted. Now, Talindim ITT Nursery School, registration closed on the 11th of June, yet 11th of July, 1 month after the closure, registration conducted in that particular in that particular center. Now, the Fajikunda Health Center, registration closed on the 28th of June, yet on 2nd July, 4th July, 10th July, 5th July, registration conducted in the Fajikunda Health Center. Now, Nyamina Dankunku, registration, Nyamina Dankunku Mandinka, registration closed on the 6th of July, yet on the 9th, registration closed on the 6th of July, yet on the 9th of July, we had registration conducted in that area. Now, Nyamina Dankunk Barokunda, registration closed on 13th June, but on 11th July, registration was conducted in the area. In Nyamina Dankunk Wellingara, and registration closed on the 25th of June, yet on the 6th of July, registration was carried out in that center. Nyamina Isbatinjol, on the registration closed on the 11th. 11th of June, yet registration was carried out on the 2nd of July. Janjambure, Nyamina is Jaren, registration closed on the 11th of June. On 28th June, registration was carried out. Sambang, Fulakunda, registration closed on the 4th of June. Yet on the 5th of July, registration was carried out in that center. Nyamna West, Choya, registration closed on the 19th of June. 7th of July, registration carried out in that area. Katamina, registration closed on the 14th of on the 14th of June, yet we have registration on the 10th of July. Now, Janjambure, Nyamina Dalaba, registration closed on the 24th of June, yet on the 7th of July, you had a registration carried out in that area. In Kerawan Fula, registration closed on the 11th June, 5th July, had registration carried out. In Banjul South, Banjul Mini Stadium, registration closed on the 18th of June, 2nd July 2021. 2nd July 2021, registration was carried out. Banjul Mini Stadium, on registration closed on the 18th of June, and on the 2nd of July, registration was conducted. Lassawaf Market, registration closed on the 26th of June, and on the 2nd July, 10th July, 11th July, registrations were carried out in those areas where the Yamina, the iPad, Jambanjeli. Now, in Jambanjeli, in Yamina, in Jambanjel in Combo South, after close of registration in Jambanjeli South, in Jambanjeli, 19 people got registered in Jambanjeli after the close of registration. Gentlemen, the registration, the timing for each registered voter, for anyone to get registered, could not be less than 5 minutes. The time you present yourself to the registering officer, identifying yourself, checking on your qualifications, whether it's one of a presentation of a passport, ID card, or attestation, cannot be less than 5 minutes. But our sampling has shown that registrations were conducted in some instances even in less than 2 minutes. And believe that this was done because there are people outside who were registering people, and then they go to IEC and input them, so that the timing really cannot be in accordance with the authentic registration information from the authentic registration center. Now, we have here on various dates from May 29th to to 17 June 2001, a huge number of people who were registered in Basse Dunia under 4 minutes. Under 4 minutes, which is not possible. But very strikingly is that people were even registered after the close of business on the day. Registration commences at 8 a.m. and closes at 5 p.m. But we have discovered that in Basse Dunia, on the 3rd of June, on the 5th of June, 127 people were registered under 3 minutes. But of these 127 people, 38 of them were registered between 5:01 p.m. and 6 p.m., well outside the time stipulated for registration of voters. 6th of June, 123 people were registered, and of these, 5 of them were registered between 5 p.m. and 5:30 p.m. On the 7th of June, 152 people were registered, all under 3 minutes, of course, and out of the 7 of them were registered between 5 and 5:25 p.m. On the 8th of June, 206 people were registered, and 11 of them between 2 minutes after 5 and 5:46. On the 9th of June, 213 people were registered, and out of these, 14 people were registered between 5 minutes after 5 and 5:25. 14th June, 98 people were registered, and out of these 98 people, 28 people were registered between 2 minutes after 5 and 28 minutes after 6. On the 16th of June, 51 people were registered in Basse Dunia. Out of these, 11 of them were registered between 5:14 p.m. and 6:18 p.m. All these were outside of the period stipulated for registration of voters. This cannot be done without IEC being complicit with those people who were involved in this. Now, Simbara, also, we had a similar thing. Simbara, people were registered, in less than 4 minutes. But what is in interest for us is that on the 7th of July, 314 people were registered. And out of these, 72 were registered between 5:07 p.m. and 6:45 p.m., 72 people. And on the 8th of July, 302 people were registered, and of these, 34 were registered between 5:02 p.m. and 5:44 p.m. This, again, outside the period, the time stipulated by the IEC for registration of voters. In Bantanto, on the 8th of June, 10 people were registered between 5:03 p.m. and 5:20 p.m. On the 10th of June, 10 people were also registered between 5:01 p.m. and 5:18 p.m. In Sibito, on the 4th of June, 59 people were registered, and 12 of them between 5 and 5:30 p.m. On the 6th of June, 48 people were registered, and out of these 48, 6 of them were registered between 5:02 p.m. and 5:19 p.m. In Koina, on the 16th of June, 161 people were registered, and of these, 8 of them were registered between 5:35 and 5:56. 5:35, 5:56. That's less than 15 minutes. Huh? That's less than 15 minutes. Yeah? Less than 15 minutes. Yeah? Now, and of course, on the 17th, I didn't capture the number of people, but the registration was conducted up to 7 p.m. in Sibito. Then on the 19th, 138 people were registered, and out of these, 23 were registered after 6 p.m. Because I had mentioned this earlier. On the 18th also, 138 people were registered in Sibito, and out of these, 32 were after hours. On 25th June, 132 people were registered, and 11 of them at 5:30, after 5:30 p.m. Yeah. In Clary, 13 June 2021, 73 people were registered. And out of these 73 people, 26 were registered between 5:02 and 6:06 p.m. 14 June 2021, 73 people were registered. And out of these, 29 people were registered between 5:02 and 6:04 p.m. 15 June, 73 people were registered, and out of these, 26 registered between 5:01 and 5:43 p.m. 16 June 2021, 82 people were registered, and 15 of these were registered between 5:01 and 5:43 p.m. 17 June, 80 people were registered, and 15 of them were registered between 5:03 and 5:15 p.m. 19 June, 95 people were registered, 16 of them between 5:01 and 5:46 p.m. 20th June, 85 people were registered, and 11 of them between 5:06 p.m. and 5:34 p.m. 23rd June 2021, 96 people were registered, and out of these, eight of them between 5:02 and 5:16 p.m. Now, apart from that, Kular also reveals one of the probably greatest frauds also. Registration closed throughout the Gambia on the 11th of July. But in Kular, registration continued there. 13th July, 14th July, 15th July, 16th July, 17th July, 18th July, 19th July, 20th July, 21st July, 22nd July, 23rd July, 24th July, 25th July, 26th July, 27th July, 28th July, 29th July, and 30th July. Registration continued in Kular after the close of registration, and the minimum number of people registered on these days was 30. The minimum registered was 30. We have this 125 got registered. Now, aside from this, we also have, again, Jambanjeli. 207 people were registered outside the time stipulated, all at Jambanjeli market, because we had only Jambanjeli market. 207 people registered after the prescribed time for registration, and some before In fact, 7 people were registered in Jambanjeli market at 07:50 before the opening of the polls. We had that in Jambanjeli, 207. And similarly, in Jao, we had 7 people registered before the opening of the polls, and 200 registered after the prescribed period in Jao Center. And gentlemen, if you see that the areas that we've mentioned about timing and so forth, they are less than 10. There are less than 10 polling centers. You can imagine what has happened throughout the Gambia. IEC fraudulently carrying out registration to help and assist NPP to win these elections. I cannot imagine what could be a greater fraud, what could be a greater electoral fraud in any situation. But we have here the group by group indication of number of registered voters. And according to IEC's own document, in Jao, in Upper Salum, at 555 registered votes. And this is on this campaign is throughout the Gambia for the all the polling centers in the Gambia. Njao is indicated as having 555 registered voters, which is made of 226 males and 329 females. But 2 days before the opening of the polls, IEC issued and supplied our agents with this. And that has 1,003 voters. A difference of 440 something. Where did it come? Where did it come from? Is that document? And all these that we refer to are all their documents. Where did that 443 votes come from? I had mentioned the Farato Mosque, which was not a designated registration center. You all had seen in the social media when our monitoring team went to Diabugu, they found registration being conducted in Dramekunda, which is claimed to be the family home of Musa Drame. He denies it. But point is that it was taking place in a private residence, and registration always take place in a public place, at Bantabas, in the provinces, and even schools, not in private residences. And of course, all that IEC did and condoned in order to assist the NPP in their fraudulent desire to win an election which they do not deserve. These are just samples. Can you imagine? We have not mentioned anything for Same, for Nyani, for Kantora, or for Fuladu, for Upper Fuladu, or even for Kiang West, or Kiang East. We've mentioned Sibito in Kiang Central. So can you imagine the amount of fraud, the monumental fraud that IEC and NPP perpetrated on the people of the Gambia? And when we wanted this to be heard, the Supreme Court said you cannot. Maybe if the court had looked at these documents and seen this fraud, they would have said, look, we have to hear this matter. But peremptorily stopped us. These gentlemen are some of the evidence at our disposal, and we know that the IEC is sitting on tons and tons of their fraud, which they do not want to make public to the Gambian people, and which they will not make public to the Gambian people because it is only the courts that can really force them to do so. I want them to explain how a man can be registered, or how 3 people can be registered in under 3 minutes each. How is that possible? And why is it that registration continued in areas after the close of registration, either because the out of hours, or the registration had completely ceased to registration had completely ceased or closed in those areas. We want an explanation on this, and I think the Gambian people deserve an explanation. I think the transparency that the IEC claims, this is the time for them to really come out and be transparent, say, and admit to their fraud. This is the time for them to do so. And I want to think that with these revelations, if those people at the IEC are men of conscience, they would all resign because they have been laid bare. We have put their pants down. Everybody seeing them naked. I think they should. If they are men of conscience, they should resign. Unless they can come up and explain why you have published from Yao 555. 2 days before elections, you produce a document showing 1,003. What is the explanation? Tell us why, after the close of registration in Brikama North, registration continued there. How is that possible? Gentlemen, you all heard Honorable Ibrahim Silla, one of his audience said in an interview, "Intel ngalo nga mendoku registration auto." Intel even mentioned a figure, and the figure is almost what the president is declared to have won. Imagine. So they knew what they were doing. This is what he was referring to when he said, "Intel ngadoku menke registration auto ngalo." It is this fraud. Wala mo ila doku tino tapaleya ni kalabanteya. Manke kavoko mole lafira o mole ya kavoko ye doku no woto be palas ko mun lalma. Bara ale tapale al melke al yamira kavka te funtila. Bara filantal funtita. Natra nun kavoko korsonta nun diamo keta nun felle be funtila fana meliano kavoko wala be siala nyenti. And certainly ne fonko jibe yawe then be total 10 registration out of period and so forth. Yeah, be calculating everything. It runs into thousands. Amanke kemo fula damati or talgu. So, gentlemen of the press, we think we should share this with you, and that the Gambian people should know that our rejection was based on reason, on valid reason. We did not just reject the results because we felt that we should reject it. We felt that the IEC, in complicity with NPP, has really stolen the Gambian people's verdict and produced a rogue register that benefited the NPP, because they knew what they were doing. And after all, these are not matters that can go to a revising court. Registering someone after 5 p.m., that is the fraud by IEC and those people involved in it. You go to the revising court because the person is not qualified. He is not of age, or he is not fit, or he's not a Gambian. That's what you can go and contest the IEC. But when people do their fraud clandestinely, who can take that to the IEC, to the revising court? It is only post-elections that these frauds are discovered. Katafao kola le kanyin tapale al peka je peka fundo wadolo. Adung ala ya londe ya jamela jamano la de. Kaka le kanyin fonkol yo bari mbaka fenje kamenje kaf ko intimidation. Ye molle bute ye molle yo but kaf ko ñoo electoral fraud sifa e kaf ka ID card wol di mol yes maybe but kaf ko register outside of the times nene maji ya jamala jamano sign abe ke kam after ngakele kaf ko o kukuru membe banko kanya ta nyamba net wala kam banko kanya sign no bo balundi kam that so gambian ko lu ale na dalilo jele ko ko tan membe jeto loi ba menna walong Elections Act and even the Code of Conduct ni international idea men signed in November ila fo kafa ko campagne kono nandil kana kijeto campagne kono mo kana si ku samba jeto bar wallahi nyen campagne kono si ko man fo campagne to nyen Gambia kono na men tamita nyen campagne wala yatinna ka results ñol je wala nan ka results ñol je du laal to na yalon ka fako Mr. Fall ka fako ay 5 votes le soto je wala nan ka je ka fako Mr. Jammeh ay 5 votes le soto je in URR areas you have sitting UDP MPs because they can only get 15 votes. Tribal function not and nita la dolto ikaje kavoko senda fana I mean sort of jet when you are in a bank quality I'm saying this because the bank quality nimbota mirala musi jumality la kandini candidate musi jumality wa mutinya rolete. That is census of ethnic groups. Census for ethnic groups. Have kilo damanete. Flood be siar ndame. Yaje bela voter karoben. Manikol be siar ndame yaje bela voter karoben. It's not good for our country. It's not healthy for our country. Adunyen karto nyi mansa kunani wot fana ne ya sindi. Kome yalam ka manke nyi banko la nafade. Kasiolu ke kun takindi nyola kasiol jutundi nyola ngani dilal mel for sibito nyolu njao those places ne voting pattern jeto ye voting pattern je kunti nyolto ye voting pattern je manna nyolto ka fa ko na banko nyi unfortunate is divided on tribal line which is really unfortunate bedwala nyenjumo lumbala for more signina ila siola ya Gambia muta ka fo ko mukuti nyanta men fenkala. Gentlemen of the press, I thought this is what I have to share with you. At least our views are this, that this is how the NPP aided by NPP aided by IEC, election win Yemen. And I like to also say that I believe I'm not in Jao, the people that were registered outside the registration, outside the period, should be not 200, should be 79. 79 were registered outside the time. 7 of them before the opening of the polls, or official opening of the polls. 7 of them before 8 o'clock, and 72 of them after 5 o'clock. The 200 was for Jambanjeli. I thank you all, gentlemen of the press. I hope after the National Assembly elections, we'll meet again. Yeah. Thank you. Well, I didn't say much in Mandinka, but in Mandinka. But okay, what I said in Mandinka, let me just repeat that in what I may be reminded. Limited don't want to wreck the election be Nimdeme in Andutak Lua. IEC continue the binder register be time be bimje ak wax bi nga xam ne ci lañ war def registration mel ne Banjul mini stadium registration bi dañ ko jox période diggante ay fan waaye bu fan yooyu passé gis nañ ne ñu ngi fa doon register loolu moo xewoon Brikama North moo xewoon Brikama South moo xewoon na mel Latrikunda Sabiji moo xewoon Kombo South moo xewoon Badbu moo xewoon Jaawo ak in fact Kombo South in fact foofu la gën a bon dëkk bu ñoo wax Jambanjeeli nga xam ne fukki nit ak juróom-ñeent dañ leen register fekk ne waxtu registration passé na wala ñoo register waaye ñu gis ne itam Jambanjeeli ñu ngi fa register ñaari téeméer nit after hours gis nañ loolu ñu ngi leen fa gis ne ñu ngi fa register juróom-ñaari nit before hours Njaawo itam ñu ngi fa gis ne ñu ngi fa register juróom-ñaari fukk ak ñaari nit after hours juróom-ñaari nit before hours mel na ni total juróom-ñaari fukk ak juróom-ñeenti nit ñooñu leen register boo xam ne àndut ak lu waaye nag Kulaar nag moo gën a doy waar registration bi dafa close on the 11th of July throughout the Gambia kenn mënut a bind waaye Kulaar moom continue nañ fa di register nit yi lu ko dooree li ko dooree 13 July ba 30 July ñu ngi fa rek di register nit te ci ñooñu nag li ci gën a néew bu ñu register mooy ñetti fukki nit waaye ñenn ay téeméer ak téeméer ak ay lu toppa yenn ay juróom-ñetti fukki nit so waaye li gën a woon na wartoon a am register lii lañ doon jooy lii lee tax ñun ñu ne élection bi àndut ak loi looloo tax ñu dem Supreme Court because suñu demoon Supreme Court dañ doon génne wuñi tappale IEC tappale bi ñu def ci élection bi ngir pour dimbalee NPP ñu win dañ tappale réew mi not UDP réew mi lañ tappale def registration bu bon bi maa ngi leen di challenge ne nañ génn weddi li ma wax parce que ñoom seen kayit yi laa am de seen kayit yi yooyu laa yore nekkul ne lu ma xalaatal suma bopp la ma def ci seen kayit yi laa ni ne ma génne ko ci su fekkee nag wax ma dégg bon seen kayit yi ñoo fen dan bon tey ñu ngi nax nit yi ne lii moo am te fekk ne loolu amul nang leen di challenge loolu ba pare nag Supreme Court su fekkoon dañ teyoon rek xool kayit yi bu baax dinañ gis tappale bi ci nekk dinañ doon nanku code bi dem on waaye ñoom seetuñ kayit yi ñu par la nag lëg liñ dee wax wave of the hand ne lëg yëf yi ñàkk a fayda nañ ko génne te waru nag toog xool kayit yi bu baax gestu kayit yi sega leen den tappale bi ñoo wax nii dañ ko doon gis te xam naa ne suñ ko doon gis li ma doon wax ne de supreme injustice bi ñu am du am dañ doon am supreme justice waaye néew daa foog ne ñoom dañ am supreme injustice te lii nag Gambian si ñun wane nañu liñ war a wane te naa bantuwaat ne lii ñu ngi koo def du pour UDP ñu ngi ko def pour Gambia parce que lépp loo xam ne especially ci lifin especially ci woote lépp loo li ñoo def dafa war a tegu ci loi warta nekk lu dënga waruñoo taana nguur ci ay kayit yoo xam ne kayiti tappale la registre boo xam ne registre bu tappale la te li ñu defi ne nekkul ne réew mi yëpp lañ defi ne parce que Bakau li ñu def Bakau loolu wanewuñ ko li ñu def Serekunda West wanewuñ ko li ñu def Bundung wanewuñ ko dañ jël ay places rek random selection loolu wane lii yëpp xam ngeen ne su fekkee woon ne dañ jël 53 constituency yëpp li ñoo gis dina doy waar te xam ngeen ne international observers ñoo mun ñoo gis lii te international observers ak sant yàlla EU ànd nag ñun pour yëf yi corruption bi waaye ñii moom EU mënuñoo gis lii te ñun mii mënuñoo gis lii tant que sànniwuñ carte after sànni carte lay mun a gis lii so Gambians man ñu ngi leen di gërëm di leen sant bu baax de wax ne nag nañ oytu yëfi xeet baaxut mooy yaxa réew te sànni carte bi lu wone dafa mel ni daal dafa wone ne xeet yi fuy mbokka ci xeet loolu la wone man xam na lan laa daan am URR xam na lan laa daan am Ñaamina in all those places presidential election xam na lan laa fa daan am te ma xam itam lan laa fa am ci place yooyu xeet ñëw na ci te just ma doon wone dangaa gis ay place mel ni ma sembe waaw maa fa ëppale carte soose yi bari foofu loolu moo warta am soo war maa ñàkk a carte sibito parce que soose la Essa Faal warta ñàkk a carte ma sembe ndekki olof la waaye nag liñ gisee élection bi xeet moo ci lifi te loolu dañ ko war a fay nañu génne ko su loolu wax ma ñun de waaye ci kanam na isi jafe-jafe ci réew mi te kenn bëggul jafe-jafe Gambia maa ngi leen a sant di leen wax ñëpp jumaa mubaarak yàlla ñu yàlla may fekkee beneen ajuma bar salaatul faatiha. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, Party Leader. Ladies and gentlemen of the press, I think the detailed and very thorough adducing of our evidence is here. We will be happy to share the details of these instances and incidents with all of you. We are also mindful that today is Juma, so we will not be taking our usual number of questions, but very quickly, before 1:30, we would want to be on our way to the Juma. Please, as an etiquette of the briefing, indicate your name, which media house you are representing, and you can ask your question in any of our languages, Mandinka, Wolof, and English. These are the three languages that all of us here are comfortable with. I see Mr. Ba is here, and I'm sure Mr. Sane would be able to translate if you want to ask in Fula. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for coming to this press briefing. So the floor is open for the Q&A now. Mr. Ba.
Thank you very much. Mr. Tan, thank you very much. The issues raised, of course, about the administration, if these are anything to go by, it's a concern in the future elections. So I want to know if these claims are real, the evidence.
In this?
If the evidence we claim to have are really true, that the system, the electoral system, sorry, the administration system is really corrupted. Are you helpless now after the Supreme Court ruling? Or practically you can do something about it? If yes, you can do something about it. What is it? In concrete terms, what can you do now? Because the worry is people are heading to the next national assembly election in a few days' time.
You said if what I have said here is real, what we are going to do so far. I have stated that if the IEC disputes what I say here, let them come out, because I'm using their documents. So what I'm saying here is real. There can be no question of doubt about this. I'm not making an allegation. All I'm saying I'm basing it on their own documents. So it is real. If it's not real, let them come out and say, no, it's not, these documents you have are not correct. After all, we have some of them, even with bearing the signature of the chairman of the commission. So it's real. Okay? What are we going to do about it? I think that should be something that the national executive should discuss. What do we do about it? But one thing that I think is that all those who have been registered outside either of the time or of the period, our advice to them would be that they should refrain from going to the polls. In fact, we'll take extra efforts to name and shame them. We'll publish their photographs, their voters' card number, and say these are people who did not register within the times prescribed by the IEC or the scheduled period prescribed by the IEC. We'll name and shame them. If Omar Tuwali's name is there, we'll shame him and say, you shouldn't go to the polls because you registered outside the period or you registered after 5 o'clock. That's what I think. I'll put that to members of my executive that if that could be one of the things that we should do, to name and shame those people and to all further shame the IEC to show that they did this thing. Because each voter's card does not only have the name, but it also has the time and the date. And all these things. Look, yesterday, I was up to 5 a.m. coming through these registers, particularly this Njao register and the Jambanjel register. Went through from the first person, number 1, and Jambanjel you have 3,800 plus. I went through each voter's card to see the time, to see the date. So those people will name and shame them. We don't want to do that now, but we can do so. And we will further embarrass IEC. And then they should, if they are men of conscience, they should resign. And let Adam Barrow appoint people who would do a better job than them.
Yes, sir. Please identify yourself and your media.
Well, thank you very much. My name is Dauda Balde. I work for the Fat Network online television. Well, my name is Dauda Balde. I work for the Fat Network online television. My question is, despite the long time during the election, we all understand that after the counting of votes, UDP is concerned about the fraud during the election, but none of the concern was raised. I stand to be corrected about voter registration. So it may interest Gambians to know, when did UDP discover this fraud during voter registration, and if there was at any time that UDP decided to come out, because voter registration stopped a period before we go to the campaign and nomination, stuff like that. So none of these issues were raised. I still stand to be corrected. And secondly, you talk about naming and shaming of those who are involved, as it may be your next step. I just want to ask, would that be ethical, and also considering the profile of the United Democratic Party to do such an act, with the fact that those who were registered late, maybe it may not be their fault, but then it may be the fault of the IEC and other individuals. So what will be your take on that? Thank you.
See, this fraud that we are talking about, we only discovered it after the elections. During the elections or during the registration period, when they do these things clandestinely, no party would be present. Neither DOI, GDC, APRC, UDP, GMC, none of them would be present. So those who are benefiting from this will be the ones, and IEC, that certainly would know about it. So I say it was only after the elections when we challenged the election. In fact, we did allege in our petition that there were malpractices. And then we started unearthing this. Now, the issue of ethical, I don't know what is unethical about exposing criminals. I don't know what is unethical about exposing fraud. I need to be told by moralists, I need to be told by people, who really are more conversant with ethics and ethical conduct. If I have to say, and again, I will point out to my no, it's not Omar Wali. I'm sorry, Mr. Barry. Please. So you better be careful, so that no one mistakes you for Omar Wali. Well, anyway, he's not here, but I'll still mention him. If really, Mr. Mr. Al-Mametal is involved, I do not see any reason why we shouldn't expose him. And in fact, that should be a warning to other people that in future they will not attempt such things. Telling that people maybe they got late. If you get late to be registered, that's your fault. The IEC has given the period during which you should go and claim your right to be registered. If you get late for that, good bad luck to you. You should not get involved in anything criminal to acquire a voter's card. And you and IEC, have conspired to commit a crime. This period, you and IEC have committed a crime. These people, that's what they have done. Especially in Kular, in July, all those people run into 1,000. They conspired with IEC to commit this fraud. So you cannot say that I was late. If that is the case, then it should just be open, that you can register at any time. You don't give time, and you don't give dates. I hope I'm clear about it. But again, I'm saying that it will be unethical of us if we just keep quiet about these things and not expose them. We will be doing a great deal of disservice to the Gambian people, that we know of this monumental fraud, and yet we keep quiet about it. That will be highly unethical of us.
Mr. Barry.
Thank you very much. Amadou Barry, I work for eMedia, the Senegalese media, and Zone Afrique, it's a French magazine, as correspondent. I have two questions. First one is, all these issues with the IEC you have, mentioned. We are almost 24 hours before the starting of this nomination for the National Assembly election. With all these issues, are you as party going to participate to this election? If yes, are you accepting, all these challenges? You are challenging, of course, the IEC, but for me, participating, to this election is also, almost questioning all these, issues. And if not, are you going to boycott these elections? And tell me, what is the strategy of the party? Have you, chosen your candidates for this election? And which areas you have mentioned, this, tribe issue? You used to grant me an interview, and I put that question. I don't know if you remember about this tribalism in this country. Now you have accepted. Do you think it's somehow late that you have realized that the tribalism is now has been issue in this country. Thank you very much.
Let me start off the last question before I forget. I remember this is of tribalism I discussed with you, which I had denied, is the labeling of our party as being a tribalist party. That is what I had debunked. I said, it's not true. It does not exist. You know? Of course, I have also never believed that the government electorates would vote on tribal lines. Yes, even though it has happened, I believe that it is my duty as a senior citizen of this country to really talk to the Gambian people, say that their decisions should not be influenced by their tribal affiliations, that they should be able to decide the destiny of this country on the programs and priorities rather than on what tribe a particular candidate belongs to. That is my duty, and I have always done that, and I will continue to do that. And that is why during the presidential elections, I was only dealing with our 5-point agenda. I didn't even respond to some of the insults that were leveled against me, because for me those were irrelevant. They were completely irrelevant. Now, we are preparing our candidates for elections. We are not going to let the National Assembly be hijacked by the NPP because of our default. Again, if you do that, we'll be doing a great deal of disservice to the Gambian people. If we just keep back and not contest. After all, when we have like-minded people in the National Assembly, and we form the majority there, this issue of the register can be dealt with. And how it will be dealt with, I will not say it here. But when we have like-minded people forming the majority, I will throw the idea at them, so that so that the register can be sanitized. But we are not boycotting, because a boycott puts us at a disadvantage. Your political presence in the constituencies, dwindle, and you cannot really sit down 5 years without having your political activities being headed in constituencies by your candidates and by your chairman. Whether the candidates win or not, they must be there to spearhead your political activities. So we are not boycotting. We'll be contesting. In fact, the indications I've seen, we'll be fielding more candidates than any party. It appears to me that is what is going to happen. Yeah.
Okay. Are you contesting from all the country, or based on what you have said, you are no longer contesting in some areas?
What I'm saying is that we have not just completely settled all our candidate list, but so far we have selected more candidates than any other party. I've selected more candidates than so far, although we have not made it public. I've selected more candidates than any other party.
I see the ladies are not asking any questions today. Is it because of the Juma? Yes, gentlemen.
I would like to ask in the local language for the benefit of our local listeners. I'm Adam Fadera, working for Membekere TV and Home Digital FM in Brikam. Honorable, be lovely in Kalmen, be lovely Purgana, in Kara follow Mula Como demanding, Walakata, Ale Force Press Release or make a jam. Ngajet Biratul Fanapotala, European Union Fanayela report when you body. But what people going to bring IEC Bejabiro through Mr. Banyon la media platform. Ye made and the one in ko Ninata inducement or one sako more campaign financing and other things. iko itul mang loi mang sembo et loi te bul me alon ko police wo kelen no nyame pour ka wono ma ya tandi ko dibide muna se wo keno but say ni ayatara dibide muna so keno ngalon ko 2017 biring nying mina parliament nyimbe lola UDP dibide la siada ni and jani wo dibide minala coalition o kula atina loda wala nyindi ko course starta jumala ya start wala mu solo sandende aya start munala wala nyindi ko electoral reforms so say yamara UDP député lu meni alon ko wala be parliament imam felio ke banding ayatara IEC ka même fo ka electoral reforms dinga kake ka symbole IEC la pour ka inducement and other issues ka kel nimboto the next question on mendi wala nyindi ko ngamal Mr. Bay woni ni kal wala nyindi ko affaire ale nyimbe fo ko IEC tapala ni ko men fo aliye tumi ning ayatara nyin tumirolu sabata mune bal bulu say ani fanan ale men fo ko ale be mol ase jarale ale mol tol findinde ke safe me ke findinde mol ya lon karñol wolle ni registration ke ni wato la amanden kala say ning ale o beke ya nyin do fanan fo me alon ko wala mu hawdi ko wala mu tribalism nyinti ya mira abe jarla bang atul me alon ko bi almu alpha balade banko kan kafuda banko dulalto political party wol be banko kan ka alpha lo commande ya mari de sa won lead no bambe ye monol be commande aleta banko tundol be kan kaje ko sama meni mina atol dosela wol kana bula ko ko bi membe and then ñi ñini karo ke mel na mol meni ya lon ko ya focus keno alse itol publish no ite mo loyalty ya mera a jarta nin gambe ni pare da pour gañul samba ki de ko ye tiñaro ke me alon ko ani loi fo da ñoko thank you.
Well, ila ñiningal follow campaign financing mu parties nolu funds raise la ñame kadu EU la fonko yi data wala la ibe kodo raise la ñame ode kala campagne yol ke fo enen criminal cartels ñol ke ñobulu ye kodo dila ye campagne ke ni gagneta ye la mansa kundanye ya mara ilafta koko kala banko nyin ka yaki jeto yama interest groups nyolo ka kodo dila pour ye la campagne ke ni ye place nyin soto yama then isi ye place nyin soto ite sitara itel sawola ka EU la fonko nyi about campaign finance wa moleti. And really, kunu ni la monitoring team moli nga discussion ki jantole and na to bari tenga medan ka ko campaign funds as far as UDP is concerned delta is transparent ka kodo soto hani dal si lulu ni dafa dera ya dinna ka risiro le dila adun ka kodo soto melbulu abe mun na gambia dinglete in the diaspora and in banko kanjanto adu wal dum fanan ka mendinna nka risito dila de ka risito da dum kaje ka fo ko mendita atata pati wala hajoto amanta Ahmadu Sane Ahmad Sane ta ko dota la yakofa bakala da depanso ala su depanso de wala ayafo ko abala la yang sanala ka campaign fund ka di parties nyolela to be used exclusively pour patiola hajokan now na complain o men katamenti wala ka voters no injures wo IEC abela code of conduct le so ila abe elections act ni tole ni aje ka foko mbemba tambado be a campagne ba ke kanyame abe du ko le dikam dembo ko abe tractor yaje ngaja abe tractor dila yaja be nyoma sinturan dile IEC yaja adu loi ka yemala isa fole ka foko sembete la ko adu abe loi ni tole elections act ni to e loko mo manke to nyaate ibe fanne bondi kan EU budwa ni EU sita nu ka ko fo journalist o nyala bay membe jitan la jet wolon ka ko ida EU IEC ma fahamu EU quand même fo wala be fanta wondi kan la complain no momenti wolom corruption ado EU agreed with the kafoko agree with us on that. I don't want to complain on it. Ni IEC ko sebetete la ko kebele manyo ka ko mtonyati. No, electoral reform. Mr. Federa, telata menna wonon ka ko na Africa na bankolo nyantale ka kuol keno wayata luwati jeto kol melan ko best practice lo mede nyantale ke keno wayata luwati jeto bari memmo mansa kunna me yalon ka ko bi nyin ko modbe fo kama wala ya jambe kala janto kuol la ibe men ke kambi wota nga ya jambe kala kuo kula luya luwa soto jeto ma luwa soto jeto mo manya na tamala banko kama sa kunda manya na sana utawa itama banko because that was the raison d'etat of the struggle. Reforms nyol nilo and nyanta kelale even if you don't have any law because of the conduct, the way we do things should themselves be the codes member guide la and wala nyanta fam kaje ka ko amen Angleterre ila kuja mama ndrasa fere luwado bari ka practice make ikela ko tamande nyame wa dali wakata adoti me ala ko adu bambandi ngolo mota hayla fa ko bolado fonta ko na la janto ba manza kuna me ala ka fa ya jamba dem bodi dalilo la kanjanto nita sita ita nyanta sonnal ban kuyake me ya lon ka ko ya jambe ko le ke men kele ita nyanta sonnal la ba so ba fa ka ko luwati jeto mo kuma puntan lete membe kere ala foye men nyanta kela e mole manke fodum fonsi pare pour kata banko ka jaji aman jare groupe eta ninta kilingulta janto bi nyama ntata badbu kadiam badbu koli yawa do fana wulta janto atata salum kadiamuye abe kukiling la ñojo be kala amman jade benga be nimbe bulata moto kilin lan tata be man ta mom tata jeto man kuma fo jeto be ala ko kuma kesoti be la taje na famunete ninte kilin tata nyanta menkela ko banko alpha nyanta men fala ko banko alpha ata ngaki jeto ngafo jeto do fana ita a nyanta menkela nyandam fo le ko banko alpha yake kana fo ko ibe tukula molla ko ntellomo botat lakilin ndala dipito dodo e bula teno ka fa ko alman sona nala ka dun telle botat lakilin al nyanta nala wala nyanta bam molla free choice e nyanta your respect ka ko ngole kelenu ya jamala jamalo so ma asikeno de bari amman jare te nyanta wullale ngadi am banko moli donc to fanya nyanta wullale ayta di am banko moli nimbe bulata moto kilin ko hanni be mam bulata moto kilin bani be nga sila kilin bulanga ta bavo ka mole ko alinje di am kede fante fola jeto kadi ko mol mel be ben jeto ni mel be ben jeto yama walla haklo be talo ko tenne kam yawa yo isnaje tombi isi muso dol joye yana e ba fa le fon saje usata kaf ko mawulo kam yeah so sinyin ke no le without really being at anyoda yeah
Camara ba fognare su Camara ba laajte be pare dal dinañ wara tëj meeting bi ndax waaw bari janni ba ñini karo kala there is somebody young lady.
Good afternoon. My name is Edward S. Bajinka, a freelance journalist for Ghana. My question is, given the alleged mass fraud in presidential election you made mention of, you have assured your party participation in the coming assembly election. Are you, as a party, optimistic?
Well, we are optimistic for various reasons. First, presidential elections and National Assembly elections are different. different considerations are put in. Now, you know, one of the campaign, smear campaign against me, Yenang Fitog, Solen Sanele, Uzen Dabo Carter, the Flenada again of Senegal, all of it. The same thing, Poli, Solen Sanele Carter, the Flenada Yen Poli, Gen Guinea. Now, what are you going to tell the Fulaman or the Wolof about Madi Sise? Are you going to tell Madi Sise is going to drive you from here back to Guinea or back to Senegal or wherever? No. So the smear campaigns that were carried out during the presidential election cannot and will not hold in National Assembly elections. Unique considerations are taken into account in electing National Assembly members. And indeed, already we have our National Assembly members, and people have seen how they have performed, and their electors have seen what the benefits they have taken to their communities in terms of boreholes, in terms of other things. They have seen them. So for them to seek re-election, well, I think they have a record to show. Yeah? I know the majority leader, how much he does for his constituency. Yeah? And I also know Honorable Suleiman Saho. In fact, all of them, how they have been in touch with their constituencies, how they have been attending to the problems of their constituencies. So they have something to show to the people, which is different from presidential elections. After all, we had na kaliele aliaje ni leal promise le way back Suleiman Saho has done for the people of Central Bantu. They have seen. That will be different from the one who will say that if you elect me MP, I'll do this for you. I'm using MPPs on campaign against me. They said, well, he's asking if he wants to be president, he's promising you. When I'm already president. Kula John Deki, Jola Anchlan and Nala Jorer, Danko Go. Glen live in, Dige. But Suleiman Saho has done it. So are they going to listen to somebody by their own MPP standard? Somebody who says, I'm promising when I come this one. Are they going to listen to somebody who has not even done anything when councillor? Word of a word. What KK Bibaro has done, Alaj S. Dabo, you all see Alaj S. Dabo. So I don't think the situations are completely the same. And I think there's going to be not only we retaining our seats, but also adding some more to our seats. I can tell you that, Madam.
Last question, Kamaraba.
Assalamu alaikum.
Well, follow Ilal Kumalabangla. If it is necessary for me to talk tough, I'll talk tough. I just don't talk tough because people say that you don't talk tough. You should have a reason to talk tough. And not only talk tough, also act tough. When you have a reason to act tough, I'll act tough. If I have reason to talk tough, I'll talk tough. So, and what is also important, whether you are talking softly, whether you are tough, is it sensible for sensible? If it is sensible, the fact that you are talking tough, and I believe talking tough was meant talking above high, with a high pitch tone, or the delta sonanina, yenta kalajanta. No, I mean, really, as I consider myself as a statesman, so I should be statesmanly in whatever I do, without really compromising. And that's the important thing. It's not to compromise. Yeah? And that we will continue doing things and not compromise, our party. Not doing anything that will compromise our party. Yeah, yeah, for Monu, let's not maybe not a kumata back. Yana mandikol kamen for ko near to near boom. Before that, okane nimisa, buktung bijede, isa beroda kutang yabu. After all, National Assembly are important to back. National Assembly lem dulati me yalon ka ko tele kalwada da lwa me yalon ka foko wole be president sitla National Assembly me ka foko president la minister asa bondi nole minister yala hanata kuyata president natara minister kuke menis lo manta hani president fan National Assembly sa bondi nole natara ka foko president yo kuke me yalon ka faka ni lwa manta ay constitution tinya so nalo me yalon faka kumata ba je lomu gabela hajo be kakacha dame hani kamnete Gambia la hajo kacha ibuka gaina no imana National Assembly pour National Assembly nyanta menkala jeto ayaki jeto woto meme fala Gambian ko wolon ko hani bi na funti nata ka katoni kadi anyama na nyillon ko kumol mel fata jambi abakela le dolu mel yalon ko kato bebulu adu yalon kafte maso to silala abesin falale adu anyante sin falale isimen fono wala mo kana jiklate na benga na kato ni ngata on the 9th of March na ta early to the polling stations ngana votes cast for na candidates nyodo be meldon dila isinye yama role di nyimanke kutime yalon kafako mo nyanta jiklatela after all bankol to electoral kakijele wajama padual strategy wajama ibuka yeme ibemen ni kay buka soto ban nadaje ka foko wal kafalin banko dolu jeto ibemen ni kan sandi jama ima soto ban ngaje kloka wodulalto ab falingel beke kan jeto so jam fanan modulati me alon ka foko faling sikeno jantone mo kana foko man presidential election of win woto man kanata National Assembly election order mon nyata men fala wala ka ko na presidential election ya sunya yen sunya tapale yake yame be lola le ka foko kaje ko o tapale yake kakona ke kotenke be lola kaje ko banko dinglu o mele kato sata nyama wala kato fay wala koti
Ladies and gentlemen of the media, again, on behalf of the Secretary General and the party leader and the entire executive of the UDP, we wish to thank you very much for your attendance today and for the insightful questions you asked. Like we said in the beginning, this is an effort we are doing to engage Gambians across the board, to explain to them that our commitment to the rule of law and doing things according to law is the only way that you can sustain a democracy in a country like the Gambia. We believe that we are the inheritors of Alhaji Sadauda's legacy of the rule of law, champion of democracy, and good government. And good government requires that we, all of us, obey the law and work according to the law. The IEC included, the executive included, every Gambian is expected to abide by the laws of the country. And whenever the laws are threatened, you hear and you see UDP get very agitated. You know Usainu Dabo is not going to sit down and let that pass. So we thank you again for coming in your numbers and for broadcasting this across the Gambia and around the world. We will come back to you, as the party leader has said, after the parliamentary elections, and as he has also said, we have the largest number of contestants. We were very grateful to the Gambians in 2017 for the faith and the confidence they had in our party, because this struggle is still going on. Up to now, the TRRC report hasn't come out, the white paper hasn't been published, and you will see in that report a whole page dedicated to what was done to the UDP. Solo Sandeng, may he continue to rest in peace. Up to now, his case has not been decided. And this is...
He has not been given a decent burial.
He has not been even given a decent burial as a Muslim. So these are all issues that we hope the media, in your infinite wisdom, will continue to engage with them, because we know that headlines are, you know, your trade. If you don't have the juiciest headline, you tend to forget. We hope that as Gambians, we will all engage in this struggle constructively and try to put the facts before Gambians. Again, thank you very much, and Juma Mubarak, and may we continue to live in peace in the Gambia. Thank you very much. Salatu ala nabi. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Thank you very much.